Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 117 of my modded Factorio playthrough. In this episode, we're going to work on more smelters, this time concentrating on the alloys. Enjoy. Let's see, what machines do we want to grab next? We'll definitely want the copper wire coil machine. Then bronze, brass, and gunmetal. Then there's the wire coils. Alright, let's grab this. So we need all three of these setups. Now we'll be building to the left again. So we need to do our wire coils. Probably don't need to space this out as much as the other things. I mean, certainly if we make alloys, we'd want to add those to this, though. Let's see, how many spaces are these across? Because we already calculated this before. Yes, how many spaces between the lights? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or 12 spaces between the belts. So let's do that. Probably be easier just to do this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then right there. We need 2 belts of copper in here. This is where things might get a little messy. Because we're going to start having lots of belts coming out of here. That's pretty close to ready. So let's fire this up. No special logic, it'll just run it until it's full. Seems like these inserters aren't fast enough. Looking good. How's this side going? Pretty well, we got all of our coils. And now we're building up a surplus. It's kind of weird how some of these are well balanced and other ones aren't as far as the inserters go. So I know I followed what Hellmod said, so I wonder if there's just some inconsistencies there. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like a lot of these are strangely undersized. That despite Hellmod saying that the number of inserters that are on all of these are correct, they just seem to be like a couple % too slow. Which is kind of frustrating. I wonder if this setup is undersized as well. I mean, it probably is. See if the numbers are the same. 25 inserters input. 25 inserters. So it's probably undersized. Let's do an upgrade planner then. From fast to stack. Let's get rid of some of this other stuff here, so I don't want to change anything else. There shouldn't be any bronze pipes around here, so this should be okay. Just have to keep a close eye on all these setups. And make sure they're working properly, but I have the feeling they're all going to be slightly wrong. So I'll have to pay more close attention to the other builds. But, alright. Copper coils is caught up. So now we have bronze, brass, and gunmetal. Not sure if there's much of a difference between all of them. Probably not. They all require copper. And tin will be next. Let's just do bronze, brass, and gunmetal. Let's just do it in that order. Hey, we got some trees to get out of the way. Okay, bronze. It's pretty straightforward. Now there is going to be alloys and whatnot available. So we want to leave some space. But these setups are all fairly small, so there's no reason to go nuts. And I don't know if you can make coils out of things like bronze. Doesn't look like it, so it doesn't need quite as much space as the other setups do. So we just need to leave some in here. Well, how about let's do the 10 squares that the rest of this has on it. This has a little bit bigger of a gap, but let's try to standardize it a bit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, on 11, 12. Because of the lights. So, like right here. Let's just move along. All these setups are pretty small, so we can just do all of them here. Brass. And the gunmetal. Right there. Okay, let's get the belts in here. I believe this right here is the copper. And then the tin is the yellow belt. And then another yellow belt for zinc. So there's the copper, tin, but this can be yellow, and the nickel comes in up here. I think this is the nickel. It's always hard to tell. Yep. We need the signal wire to control the nickel. There we go. Let's give this a shot and see how the inserters work. So this has 2 logic systems in place. The nickel is not running because we don't have an excess of nickel, which is 40,000. So the only way that's running is the normal way, which is copper and tin. Yep. Well, it did it there. And it stopped for a split second. Yeah. It already has a stack inserter for copper. Now it's blinking out for tin here. Kind of wish the other side was going as well so we can test it, but I have the feeling they're all going to be kind of a little slow. Let's see, that's probably fine, so let's just do the second stack inserter. There we go, hopefully that's enough. But it's filling up the bronze tank. And we're filling up on bronze. Robots are making quick work of the forest. Okay, we've got a new material, brass here, which is copper and zinc. So copper will be right here. Look at all those belts of copper. And no, the factory won't be able to keep up with all these. It can only do 4 at a time, but this is just to allow any given setup to get full access to what it needs to run at full power. Whether it does or not is something else entirely. And we could use a logic setup on these belts to give priority to different resources if we wanted to. Okay, now we need zinc, which is actually right there. And if necessary, we can straighten up all these belts and whatnot after this is set up, and we actually kind of know where all the belts are supposed to go. So this is filling up on bronze, so when it hits 40, it should stop. Still going. Ah, that's set to copper. Okay, that should be better. So there's no logic on this one, so it'll just run at full power. So let's see what that looks like. Short on zinc. Sigh. I guess with some inserter upgrades, that wouldn't be a problem anymore, but... oh well. So now is copper gonna fall behind? Tiny bit, but it is. Well, we gotta fix that. It's only running like 5.5 machines. Is that what it's supposed to do? Ah, the ingredient is actually 45 copper a second. Okay then. Let's cut this off. So let's pick all this stuff up and move it one notch over. Actually, if we change the orientation of these belts, we can make this work a little cleaner. Where the center belt will be the zinc, and then each side can be the copper. And then these can be shorter. Now let's get yet another copper in here. Running out of space on this side, so we have to go all the way over to the other side. Just jump the gap. And now we have some brass here. And brass does go into building stuff. Nothing we can make quite yet. I mean, we could do some research real quick and get access to like brass chests and whatever. But it's not particularly useful stuff, so we don't need to worry about having any of this in our inventory quite yet. Okay, second belt of copper's made it. Now let's see if this works properly. It should use the whole belt of zinc. Looking pretty good. It's like 6.7 of these, so it looks about right. These are all slowly filling up. Looking good. Okay. We need gunmetal, and if these are all yellow belts, then we probably need to pick up some more here. Copper, tin, and zinc. Let's see. There is a difference on which belt they go into. Let's see, copper uses the most, so it's probably the ones with the stack inserters. And then zinc is the second worst one here. So let's get copper in. We got a little space we can squeeze in right here. And then zinc is the next one. And last one is tin. While we're waiting for the resources to show up, we can take care of some more trees. Okay, we've got tin. Let's try this out. It'd be kind of problematic to upgrade these inserters because there's kind of a lot in a small space. So let's hope it holds out. Seems to be. See, this one's barely, but is holding out, so... Okay, why aren't these running? Copper isn't making it there. Interesting. It says 15 per second should be enough. Could be these are just monopolizing it. But... let's upgrade to red. Might as well do what we can to increase production while we're staring at it, because once we walk away, I'll totally forget about it and it'll never get fixed ever again, so might as well fix any potential problems. And yeah, I realize that if I just used red belts and stack inserters everywhere, then I wouldn't necessarily be running into this problem, but I like to use the proper machines and tiers of things, rather than just making everything bigger. Not only does it cost more resources to build big belts and fast inserters and all that, but I like seeing the different colors of inserters and belts, and it gives me an idea of throughput. So if I see a yellow belt, I think to myself, well, that's probably pretty slow resource because it's yellow. If everything in the factory was red, then I wouldn't get that experience. The only thing I would know is how many red belts, but... So that's kind of why I do things like that, where I don't just use the fastest available item everywhere. But I do it within reason. So for example, I've long since got rid of the white tier of belts, just because they were too slow to be of practical use, so I just stopped carrying them. But this is looking good. Building up gunmetal. And there we go. So can we use gunmetal for anything? Kind of. It goes into bullet casings, which we can't do anything with right now. But it does go into armor, and that's one research away. So let's take care of that now. Here we go, armor crafting 3. Let's research ourselves some better armor. So we're going to need 50 to build our armor, so might as well pick up 50. There we go. And we're looking good here. Now we need to go back and pick up some more machines. What next? Because we have quite a selection. How are we doing on space? I mean, it's certainly expanding and taking up more. But that's because we're leaving gaps in there. Pretty large gaps, honestly, for potential expansion in the future. But that's okay. It looks like it won't actually interfere with the coal processing at all. Might cover up that mine, but that's of low priority. So we have Invar. So now we need tinned wire and tin sheet coil. Then solder coil and lead coil. Excellent. Armor crafting is done. So we can build our Invar armor. And where exactly is it? Angel's Logistics. And it's not built out of the heavy armor. So let's compare here. That the Invar armor has a lot more protection types, for sure. So it adds less percent protection from acid, but more damage protection. It has pierce protection, percent electric protection, somewhat less explosive protection, and somewhat less fire. But it says 100% impact. So is impact like getting hit by a train? Because if I'm reading that right, it means that we wouldn't take any damage at all from blocking a train. Might have to test that, kind of. Small amount of laser protection. Most importantly, though, because of biters, we have more physical protection, which is good. A little bit of plasma, and a little bit of poison. So it definitely seems better. So, is this going to protect us? Let's save real quick. Okay. Definitely something that can easily kill you is this. It does. So we're immune to trains now, I guess. Of course, almost killed this thing, but that actually makes me feel a little safer. I wonder if that's a bug, or is that just how the armor is supposed to be? It does say 1 here. I wonder if that's a holdout from when you used to have multiple stacks of armor. But it didn't look like it took any damage. So I guess it's fine. Because back in the day, your armor used to take damage. Just like you had a pickaxe that took durability damage as well. Well, if I wasn't so bitered out, I'd like to go running out there and test the armor. I'm curious at how much better it is. I suppose we could run down there and test it, but we'll find out someday, for sure. So what's armor crafting for? Yeah, see, this makes you immune to impact as well. Interestingly, though, the power armors do not. I guess they're expecting you to have shields and whatnot. It seems kind of like the balance is a little off. The fact that the basic armors make you immune to impact. I don't know, maybe that's the intent. Just seems a little weird. Well, the sun's going down, but it's not like we have anything better to do waiting for bots to do work, so I actually kind of want to go to the wall and let's see how much better this armor is. We're just about to lose the sun. It looks like this is the old wall that doesn't have any gates on it. Let's give this a shot. It definitely seems a lot better. Like I'm not even holding fish right now. Well, that would have been useful for the revenge of the biters that happens a little while ago. But what can you do? What's next? We'll probably want to do tinned wire coil, because that's the last thing that needs copper. I think it is this one. So we wanted to space it 12 away. So right there. Probably should grab some more bricks. It's a lot easier to place them when there's no buildings in the way. It looks like we have another water pipe problem. Coming from right here. There we go. Let's see, we can send a copper along here. Look at all those copper belts. And we need a tin. I think this is the last application of tin. Okay, let's test it. These inserters are probably going to be too slow. This side needs to be copper. It only has tin here. Oh, did I build the wrong thing? Yes, I think that's actually the problem. I just built the coils when I wanted the wire coils. Whoops. I could just leave this here, but nah. Alright, let's build the proper thing here. It probably goes in the exact same spot. Well, the spacing seems like it might be slightly different. Probably like this. Okay, this is better. But we need to get it lined up. Let's try this again. See if these are fast enough. Not quite. There we go. So that's filling up 2 separate tanks, copper and tin. We need to deliver water. And making the tin copper wire. Next is the tin plates. And I noticed there's some oil here, which you don't really want to cover up if we can avoid it. Unless there's other oil to use, which there is. Let's see, we've got 716%. Oh yeah, look at these ones out here. Much larger. So it would be kind of unfortunate to cover this up, but on a temporary basis, we probably could, like, just pick up the machines that would be in the way of the pumps. And then, drain the wells, and then put the machines back down. If it came down to that, which it looks like it's really only going to block one of them. Significantly. Right there. So now we need to get tin over here. Looks like 2 belts. Guess we'll have to pull one from up there and then one from down here. Looks like we're completely out of silicon. Is it because all the methods that create it create tin as well? Probably. Oh well, it's doing what it can. Okay, I think we're good enough to test this. Probably gonna need stack inserters. Yep. Filling up on tin. And I guess we need to get some water hooked up there. It might be better just to use pump jacks for this, because of all the space the train stations are going to take up, but oh well, we'll just do this for now, since it's working. Okay, tin coils are firing up. These seem to be running at peak efficiency. Finally went through all of those tin ingots. So now that we're not quite overloaded on tin anymore, the stop signal's turned off, and all of this is turning on here. Like this belt has 2 on signals. One of them is for silicon, it looks like. But looking good, of course, that's a lot of tin being produced, so it's going to fill up quickly. But operating, which is good. I think we had solder to do next, which is the last tin thing. And then we need to do lead. Let's see, let's make sure we get the right one. Okay, it's number 4. So let's plop it right there. I just noticed there's a yellow belt right there. I noticed because I'm like, how in the world can one side of a belt go at half speed and the other side of the belt go at full speed? Like, that's a very strange problem to have. But it's caused by this backup right here, which is causing one side of the belt to move slowly because it's backed up, but the other side of the belt isn't backed up yet, so it's moving at fast speed. So let's get that replaced. Here we go. Okay, we have some belts to deliver. Looks like tin goes in the middle. We finally need some lead. And then we need some zinc. But it looks like 15 per second would work just fine, so we can use the yellow belt. I'm also short on red, so I especially don't mind using some yellows. Let's not connect these. Let the resources catch up. Okay, we've got our zinc. Okay, we need to connect to the logic. Going into zinc. But since we're not overloaded on zinc, the zinc side won't run. The only side that'll run is the standard tin and lead side. And something tells me these inserters are not going to be big enough. But let's see. Nope. Well, let's start replacing them and see what happens. Looks like tin's falling behind. Yeah, a little bit. Well, if that's the case, then the other side is probably going to be falling behind as well. So let's just preemptively get it replaced. Okay, that seems pretty good. Although I did notice a potential problem with this, which is a similar problem that we had. Guess it's covered up now. Guess we can't see it because no radar, but a similar problem we had with the iron, where we had two different resources, or two different machines pulling off of one belt. And that created the problem where the priority wasn't right. So let's pick it up and move it over by one space. Then have a priority splitter. The priority on the left to make sure that side always gets first dibs. Okay, it seems to be set up correctly. So now we need some water in here. And now the solder's going. Seems pretty good. And that's the end of this episode. In the next one, we are going to finish up with our smelting setup. Enjoy!